Excuses are lies you tell yourself. It's that simple. Every time you say, I don't have time, what you're really saying is, I didn't make it a priority. Every time you say, I'm too tired, what you mean is, I didn't have the discipline to take care of myself. And every time you say, I can't, let's call it what it is, a lack of ownership. You can dress it up, justify it, spin it in your head to make yourself feel better, but the truth is, you're lying to yourself. And as long as you keep lying, you stay stuck. You stay weak. You stay average. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to be a prisoner of your past, your fear, your insecurity. But every time you let an excuse leave your mouth, you're putting another brick in that prison wall. You're locking yourself into a small, safe, predictable life. And deep down, you know it's killing you. That quiet frustration you feel, that's your potential rotting. Everyone has pain. Everyone has setbacks. Some people use that pain as fuel. Others use it as a crutch. You get to choose. That's the difference between those who lead and those who follow, between those who build a legacy and those who just exist. The people who win in life, in business, in health and relationships, they don't make excuses. They find a way. They show up when it's inconvenient. They do the work when no one's watching. They take full ownership of their lives, even when it's hard, even when it's unfair. And don't fool yourself into thinking this is about talent. This is about hunger. It's about having the guts to face yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not okay with mediocrity anymore. It's about replacing your lies with action. So stop waiting, stop justifying, stop settling. The longer you cling to your excuses, the longer you delay the life you know you're capable of living. Cut the crap, step up and do the work. No one's coming to save you. This is on you. Always has been, always will be. Excuses are seductive. They feel good in the moment. They wrap you in a blanket of comfort and temporary relief. When you blame the economy, your upbringing, your schedule, your genetics, or the people around you, you're momentarily off the hook. You get to avoid the responsibility that real change demands. But here's the problem. Relief is not the same as freedom. Comfort is not growth. And every time you choose the excuse, you reinforce the chains that hold you back from becoming who you were built to be. Most people have no idea how powerful they are, not because they don't have it in them, but because they've never demanded it from themselves. They've gotten so used to giving up when it's inconvenient, backing down when it's scary, and pointing fingers when it doesn't work out. Just like excellence is a habit, so is mediocrity. The scariest part, most people don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're being rational. I'll start after the holidays. I need to wait until I have more money. I'm just not a morning person. These don't sound like lies at first. They sound reasonable. But reasonable is the language of the average. Reasonable is what keeps you locked in the same patterns, repeating the same year over and over again and calling it a life. You can either be reasonable or relentless, but not both. Do you know what's behind every excuse? Fear. That's the truth you don't want to say out loud. You're afraid of failing. You're afraid of judgment. You're afraid of the discomfort that change brings. But fear is not a stop sign, it's a compass. It's pointing you directly toward the areas where you need to grow, where you need to push, where you need to rise. No one becomes successful without going through fear. No one builds a great body, a thriving business, a powerful relationship without going through moments where it would have been easier to quit. Everyone feels fear. What separates the winners is what they do in spite of it. The winners move forward anyway. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait until they feel ready. They take action. And in the process of doing, they become ready. You've got to rewire your thinking. Your mind is always trying to protect you, to keep you safe, to keep you in the comfort zone. But safety is not your ally when you're trying to grow. In fact, the comfort zone is where dreams go to die. You're not meant to be safe. You're meant to be strong. And strength only comes from pressure, from tension, from choosing to do what's hard when it's inconvenient. Let me be blunt. Your potential doesn't care about your feelings. You don't need to feel like doing it. You need to do it anyway. Champions aren't motivated all the time. They're disciplined. They do the work regardless of how they feel because they understand that emotion is fleeting, but results are earned through consistent, focused action. It's easy to lie to yourself when no one's watching. It's easy to scroll social media, binge Netflix, sleep in, and promise yourself that you'll get serious tomorrow. But tomorrow is a liar too. Tomorrow keeps you broke. Tomorrow keeps you fat. Tomorrow keeps you weak. If you want to win, you've got to crush tomorrow and dominate today. The only thing you're guaranteed is this moment, and most people waste it hoping the next one will be different. Here's the harsh truth. Your life is a reflection of your standards. If you tolerate being broke, you'll stay broke. If you tolerate being out of shape, you'll stay out of shape. If you tolerate toxic relationships, you'll keep attracting them. Change starts the moment you decide that your current standards are no longer acceptable. But deciding is not wishing, it's not hoping, it's not talking, it's execution. It's burning the damn boats and committing fully. Most people try to succeed, but trying is just a softer word for quitting with a delay. If you're not doing, you're dying. Action is the only separator. Not knowledge, not talent, not potential. Action. Relentless, uncomfortable, inconvenient action. If you're tired of starting over, stop quitting. Be the kind of person who keeps going when motivation runs out. Be the kind of person who gets up at 4 a.m., not because it's easy, but because it builds you into someone who can't be broken. Be the kind of person who says no to excuses and yes to pain, to growth, to pressure, because you know what's on the other side is better than the fake comfort you're clinging to now. Don't tell me you're too busy. Everyone has 24 hours. Don't tell me you're too tired. Winners are tired too. They just keep showing up. Don't tell me you didn't have a good role model growing up. Be the role model you never had. The only thing stopping you is the lie you keep telling yourself about why you can't. You don't need another podcast. You don't need another self-help book. You don't need a new planner or a better app. You need to make a decision. Right now. Not later. Not when it's convenient. Now. To stop lying. To stop making excuses. To stop living below your potential. The thing that's going to change your life is already in you. It's not outside. It's not in some guru or some course or some event. It's inside you, but you can't access it until you decide to take full ownership of your life, until you stop outsourcing your results to other people, other circumstances, and start realizing you're the common denominator in every failure and every success you've ever had. If you want to change your life, change your standards. If you want different results, take different actions. If you want freedom, earn it. If you want power, build it. If you want respect, most of you are waiting to feel confident. You're waiting to feel ready. But confidence doesn't come before action. It comes after. Confidence is built through reps. Reps of showing up, reps of grinding when no one's watching, reps of falling on your face and getting back up again and again. That's how winners are made. You want a better body? Then put down the garbage food, wake up earlier, move your body, and stop saying you're too busy. You want more money? Add more value. Solve more problems. Work on your mindset, not your excuses. You want better relationships? Be honest, be committed, be relentless in your own growth so you can bring something valuable to the table. Your excuses are robbing you of your life. They're the chains keeping you tied to the same cycle of regret, of failure, of starting over. They're not harmless, they're deadly. Because they convince you to play small, to delay your greatness, to accept a watered down version of who you were meant to be. And I get it. Some of you have been through hell. Some of you have real trauma, real pain, real obstacles. And none of that is your fault, but it is your responsibility. Because no one's coming to fix it. No one's coming to carry you. You've got to stand up, own your scars, and say, this ends with me. Not because it's fair, not because it's easy, but because the alternative is a life of excuses and regret. And that's a fate worse than pain. You have one life, one shot, one opportunity to create something meaningful, to leave a legacy, to rise from the ashes of every excuse and build something that matters. So enough with the stories, enough with the waiting, enough with the lies. Do the work, show up when it's hard, get uncomfortable, be relentless, be dangerous, be disciplined, because everything you want is waiting on the other side of the bullshit you keep telling yourself. Burn the excuses, they're lies. Every single one of them. Keep going even when it hurts, especially when it hurts, because that pain is the price of greatness and it's worth it. And let me tell you something, most people are too scared to say out loud. Your life is exactly where it is right now because of the standards you've allowed, the choices you've made, and the excuses you've believed. That's it. Not your boss, not your parents, not your childhood, not the market, not the system, you. And until you internalize that, until you sit with that truth and own it completely, you'll never change anything. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It only respects results. Results are the scoreboard. Results are the truth. You say you want to be successful, show me the results. You say you want to be fit, show me the work you're putting in. You say you want to lead, show me what you're willing to sacrifice. Don't just talk. Don't just post quotes on Instagram. Don't just make vision boards. Build the damn vision with your sweat. You think people at the top had it easier? No. They just stopped lying to themselves. They stopped believing the myth that life should be fair. They stopped pretending that growth comes without pain. They embraced the suck. They leaned into the hard. They chose discipline over dopamine, purpose over comfort, and ownership over victimhood. The truth is, your problems aren't special. Your story isn't unique. And I don't say that to dismiss your struggle. I say that to liberate you from it. Because the moment you realize that what you're going through has been conquered before by people with less talent, fewer resources, and harder lives, you'll stop feeling sorry for yourself and start asking, what would the best version of me do right now? You're not here to live small. You're not here to stay stuck. You're not here to be a slave to your emotions, your habits, or your history. You're here to lead, to evolve, to break through every damn excuse and become the kind of person who inspires others just by the way you live. You think that's going to happen by accident? You think greatness shows up in your lap one morning just because you wished for it hard enough? No, you earn it. You earn it with every rep, every sacrifice, every early morning and late night, every moment you choose growth over comfort. You've got to choose it again and again and again. Because success isn't a one-time decision, it's a lifestyle. It's how you show up in the small moments when no one's watching, when it doesn't count on the scoreboard, when you could easily get away with cutting corners, but you don't because you know who. You're not just building results, you're building a reputation with yourself. And that reputation is either one of strength or softness, of power or passivity, of follow through or failure. Every time you say you're going to do something and you don't, you chip away at your confidence. You teach yourself that your word doesn't mean much, that your goals are negotiable, that your dreams can be delayed. But when you follow through, especially when it's hard, you build something unshakable. You build grit, you build pride, you build a mindset that doesn't bend when life punches you in the face. And believe me, life will punch you in the face over and over again. It's not personal, it's a test. And the only way to pass it is to stop backing down and start rising up. This isn't about motivation. Motivation is weak. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire. It burns long after motivation dies. Discipline is getting up when you don't want to. It's saying no when your whole body says yes. It's doing what's necessary, not what's easy. That's how empires are built. That's how lives are changed, not with passion, with purpose, with commitment, with zero tolerance for excuses. Look around at your life. What you see is the compound effect of every choice you've made. If you don't like what you see, good. That's your wake-up call. That's your shot at redemption. But you don't get to change anything by blaming. You don't get to rise while pointing fingers. The only way out is through the discomfort, through the grind, through the pain. And on the other side is the version of you that's been waiting. The version of you that doesn't make excuses. The version of you that shows up no matter what. The version of you that leads, that inspires, that earns every ounce of respect. Not because you demanded it, but because this is war. And the battlefield is your mind. Every day, you're in a fight between the version of you who wants to coast, to chill, to stay comfortable, and the version of you who wants to rise. Stop arguing for your limitations. Stop defending your distractions. Stop justifying why you're not where you want to be. Start getting ruthless with yourself. Start cutting out the noise. Start living like your life depends on it. Because it does. The clock is ticking. The opportunities aren't waiting. The world isn't going to pause until you're ready. It's going to keep moving with or without you. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Believe in yourself. Take the shot. Bet on your growth. Burn the plan B. Go all in. And if you fail, good. Learn, adapt, get stronger. Then go again. Because failure is not the enemy. Comfort is. Excuses are. Self-pity is. Waiting is. Every time you choose the excuse, you hand your power to fear. You hand your power to weakness. You give up a little piece of yourself. And if you do that long enough, eventually you forget what power even feels like. But you can take it back. You can reclaim it right now with one decision, one moment of brutal honesty, one moment of courage to admit, I've been lying to myself. And it ends now. You can rebuild. You can rise. You can rewrite the story. But you have to stop telling yourself you can't. Because that's the lie that's keeping you stuck. The story you keep repeating in your head about why it's hard, why it's not the right time, why other people have it easier is garbage. Burn it. Replace it with truth. You've got more in you. You know that. Deep down, you've always known that. You're not like everyone else. You weren't built for average. You weren't meant to blend in. The version of you that's capable of dominating your goals, crushing your fears, and leading a life of purpose and impact, that version is already in you. But you've buried it under years of lies, laziness, fear, and excuses. It's time to dig it out, time to sharpen the blade, time to become the weapon you were born to be. You want to be free? Kill the excuses. All of them, every day. Kill them with action, kill them with discipline. Kill them with the fire that comes from knowing you're no longer okay with living below your potential. Excuses are the enemy, and the battle starts now. You have to understand that every time you surrender to an excuse, you reinforce weakness. Every time you let yourself off the hook, you're casting a vote for the version of you that stays stuck, the version that breaks promises, the version that settles. And that version, it doesn't deserve the life you're dreaming about. That version doesn't deserve success, because success is earned, not imagined. You don't get to lie to yourself for years and expect greatness to show up and hand you a trophy. That's not how this works. You either rise or you rot. You either commit or you coast. And the difference is made in the moments no one sees, when no one's clapping, when there's no applause and no recognition, only the grind, the loneliness, the discipline, the sacrifice. You think successful people love doing all the hard things? They don't. They've just trained themselves to do what's required, whether they feel like it or not. That's what separates them. Not talent, not luck, not some secret edge. Just a different standard, a non-negotiable mindset, a refusal to accept average, a willingness to do what others won't so they can live how others can't. The world is filled with people who talk, filled with people who say they want it, who say they're hungry. But when it's time to bleed, time to grind, time to push, when the results aren't showing up yet, where are they? They're gone, back in the shadows, back to the comfort zone, back to their excuses. And that's fine, but don't ever confuse those people with winners. Don't ever confuse activity with achievement, noise with progress, or motion with momentum. Winners live different. They breathe different. They make no space for excuses. They understand that time is the one currency you can't ever earn back, and they don't waste it negotiating with weakness. They don't tell themselves stories about why it's not the right time, why they're not ready, or why they'll try again next month. No, they move, they act, they execute over and over again. You want to be one of them? You've got to make that decision and never back down from it, because you will be tested. Life will throw everything at you. Loss, betrayal. And rising doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you move forward anyway. It means you get up one more time than you fall. It means you keep your word to yourself even when no one's watching, even when your body's screaming to quit, even when everything in you is begging for comfort. Because comfort is a drug. Like any drug, it promises relief but delivers regret. No, you don't need another break. You don't need to feel more ready. You don't need another motivational speech. You need to face a mirror and ask yourself, am I building a life of pride or a life of regret? Because at the end of the day, that's what this comes down to. You will either be proud. Every day is a vote. Every action is a signal. Every excuse is an invitation for mediocrity to move in and take over. And if you don't fight it, if you don't crush it the second it shows up, it will consume you. Excuses don't knock politely. They kick the door down. And if you're not strong enough to slam that door shut, you'll start to believe them. You'll start to live them. And pretty soon, they won't feel like excuses anymore. They'll feel like truth. That's the trap. That's how average becomes normal. You start to believe your own lies. You start to think that your limits are facts instead of stories. And those stories become chains. But here's the thing. If you built those chains with your thoughts, you can break them with new thoughts, new actions, new decisions. Right now, your breakthrough isn't coming from some big dramatic moment. It's coming from the little shift that happens when you stop tolerating your own bullshit, when you stop waiting for the world to change and start changing yourself, when you decide that you're not going to let your potential go to waste just because the journey is uncomfortable. You think the top 1% have it easy? No, they just made a decision that pain would be their ally. They chose to struggle for a season so they could dominate for a lifetime. They chose growth over convenience, power over pity, purpose over pleasure. And that choice, you can make it too. No one's stopping you except you. This isn't about hustle culture. This isn't about toxic positivity. This is about the truth, the raw, unfiltered, brutal truth that your life is yours, that your excuses are lies, that your future is waiting and it's asking you a simple question. Are you ready to take responsibility for all of it? because you can't pick and choose. You don't get to own your wins and blame someone else for your losses. If you want to wear the crown, you've got to carry the weight. That's the price. And most people aren't willing to pay it. That's why most people live quiet lives of desperation, smiling on the outside, dying inside, full of dreams that never lived, full of potential that never saw the light because it was smothered by 1,000 comfortable lies. But not you. You're here because something in you is done pretending. Something in you is sick of the excuses. Something in you is ready to rise, ready to dominate, ready to build a life that reflects your true capacity. And that version of you, it's not going to be found in ease. It's going to be found in war. A war with your old self, with your habits, with your fears, with your excuses. So fight every day. Wake up and declare war on weakness. Build discipline like a muscle. Starve your distractions, feed your focus. Kill the comfort, elevate the standard. Become someone so committed to their own growth that excuses literally can't survive in your presence. Your friends won't get it. Your family might doubt you. The world might mock you. But none of that matters because you're not building this life for applause. You're building it for impact, for legacy, for the quiet, unshakable pride that comes from knowing you gave everything you had, that you didn't waste your shot, that you didn't die with the best of you still locked inside. So no more lies, no more delays, no more average. Decide now. Decide that the next time your brain tries to sell you an excuse, you're not buying. Decide that when the pain shows up, you smile and keep moving. Decide that the standard is greatness, not sometimes, not when it's easy every day, especially when it's hard, because that's what builds character, that's what builds strength, that's what builds legends. You want to be great? You want to be proud? Then stop running from the discomfort and start running toward it. That's where your growth lives. That's where your potential is hiding. That's where the real you is waiting, beyond the lies, beyond the fear, beyond the excuses. And it's time to go meet them right now with fire in your gut, with purpose in your heart, and with zero tolerance for anything less than your absolute best. Every day, no exceptions. So here it is. No more hiding, no more waiting, no more excuses. You know what needs to be done. You know who you were meant to become. This isn't about hype or hope. It's about decision. A line in the sand. You either choose to stay the same, trapped by the lies you've told yourself, or you choose to rise, to lead, to take total ownership of your life. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to do the work for you. It's on you. And that's the most powerful truth you'll ever embrace, because once you own everything, you can change anything. So stand up, lock in, get loud with your action and quiet with your doubt. And from this moment forward, let your life be the proof that excuses are done, weakness is dead, and greatness is the only thing you allow. Now go earn it.